The most anticipated sequel to The Nun is finally here. That's right, they really insist on continuing this Conjuring franchise. This isn't even the last one either, there's another one on the way. Surprisingly, I never actually watched the first Nun movie, however, I know how notoriously bad everyone made it out to be, and I'm sure if I checked it out, I would hate it just as much as this movie. Pretty funny is I never need to check out the first movie, because pretty early on in The Nun II, this elderly nun bitch just described the events of the first one because filmmakers know damn well no one's seen the fucking first movie. I'll start with a few positives. The beginning scene had relatively decent ideas and visuals, the only cool visual being the nun making this priest go 20 feet up in the air and catch on fire, an ability the nun uses a total of 2 times in the whole movie, by the way. But in the moment it was pretty cool. This is some unwritten rule for me personally, but very light spoilers, by the way. They kill a kid in this film in a surprisingly brutal enough way, kind of. Any horror movie that is ballsy enough to do this will automatically get points in my book, even if those points are very few in between. Another thing that was cool was the design of the devil in this movie. They go for the goat design that the devil is usually depicted as. The movie does the smart idea to hide the demon in shadows so we don't see how shitty the CGI probably is. They utilize him as a force of nature, and while he's not in it much, it was a decent addition. Right, that's literally everything decent about this movie. This thing is an absolute piece of shit. It's so incredibly boring in many sequences, just nothing happens for a long amount of time. It's of course a horror filled to the brim with a terrible abundance of jump scares, all of which don't work at all, of course. Something about this weird specific genre of Christian horror, basically any horror that deals with any type of religious themes, I don't fuck with at all. They do absolutely nothing for me. This movie primarily takes place in school, which means we have to sit through a fuck ton of awful child acting. Credit where credit's due, the main girl, the little Irish girl, is pretty good, at least compared to every other child here. They're always given really stupid ad-lib sounding lines that are all so horribly cringe. The major thing that really bothered me was the third act of this movie. Feels like it goes on for a goddamn millennium. So much happens and nothing happens at the same time. It drags and drags. I was already done with it 30 minutes before it ended. By the time we're trying to defeat the nun, everything gets so incredibly loud. You're so overly stimulated with this barrage of sound. It's incredibly obnoxious, and I have no idea why they did this. Did they think this was a good idea to build tension, have us on the edge of our seat? Because it didn't, like, at all. There's just absolutely nothing of value to this. I'm feeling drained just speaking about the movie and trying to remember anything about it. Massive Offender, like I've already said, it's just so fucking boring. These are not the type of horror movies that deserve your time, which is a good opportunity for me to yet again just talk to me. Genuinely fantastic release from only a few months ago. You do yourself a massive favor devoting your time to that instead of The Nun II. I really have absolutely nothing else to say about this. I think every time a fucking scene ended in this movie, I forgot about it instantly. I'm giving The Nun II 1 star. It's a painfully bad, extremely stupid movie that puts an awful, horrible stain on the horror genre. There's nothing of value to this. I'm praying for the day they finally give up on expanding this terrible Conjuring cinematic universe.